Football, as we know it, has a long and fascinating history, stretching back centuries. The journey of this beloved sport is a testament to human creativity and the universal love for play. Long before organized leagues and international tournaments, people were kicking and chasing balls for sport and entertainment. These early games were often spontaneous and varied greatly from one culture to another. Ancient civilizations across the globe had their own versions of ball games, each with its own set of rules and customs. These games were not just pastimes but were deeply embedded in the social and cultural fabric of their societies. The ancient Greeks, known for their athletic prowess, played a game called episkiros, which involved two teams trying to move a ball across boundary lines. This game was not only a test of physical strength, but also of strategy and teamwork. The Romans enjoyed harpastum, a game played with a smaller ball that emphasized passing and teamwork. It was a favorite among Roman soldiers who used it to keep fit and hone their combat skills. In ancient China, a game called cuju was popular, involving kicking a leather ball through a net. Cuju was not only a form of entertainment but also a way to train military personnel and improve their coordination and agility. These early forms of football may seem quite different from the modern game. However, they shared a common thread: the simple joy of kicking a ball and competing with others. This universal appeal is what has allowed the game to evolve and spread across the world. These ancient games laid the foundation for the sport we know and love today. Over time, these diverse traditions merged and transformed, leading to the development of modern football. The passion for kicking and chasing a ball has transcended time and cultures. Today, football is played and celebrated in every corner of the globe, bringing people together regardless of their background or nationality. These ancient games were more than just fun and games. They were also seen as a way to train soldiers and build physical strength. The physical and mental benefits of these games were well recognized by ancient societies. The rules and equipment may have been different, but the spirit of competition and the thrill of the game remained the same. The essence of football, the excitement of the chase, and the joy of scoring a goal have always been at the heart of the game. It's amazing to think that the simple act of kicking a ball has brought people together for centuries. From ancient fields to modern stadiums, football continues to unite us, reminding us of our shared humanity and love for the game. Football truly began to take shape in medieval England. During this time, villages across the country would hold massive games of football, often involving hundreds of players. These games were a far cry from the organized sport we know today. Matches could last for hours, spanning across fields, through streams, and even into neighboring villages. Medieval football was known for its rough and chaotic nature. There were few rules and players were allowed to use their hands and feet, often resorting to kicking, punching, and wrestling to move the ball. These games were not for the faint of heart. Injuries were common, and there were even reports of deaths occurring during particularly violent matches. Despite the violence, football was incredibly popular in medieval England. It provided a much-needed distraction from the harsh realities of daily life and fostered a sense of community. These early games, though rough around the edges, helped to solidify football's place in English culture. Imagine a sea of people all charging towards a ball with little regard for rules or safety. It's no wonder that these early forms of football were met with disapproval from some corners of society. The authorities at the time saw these games as unruly and disruptive, and even attempted to ban them on several occasions. However, the people's love for the game could not be suppressed. In the 17th and 18th centuries, football continued to be a popular pastime in England, particularly among schoolboys. Each school had its own version of the game, with different rules and traditions. It was during this period that the game began to evolve from its chaotic medieval roots towards a more organized and structured sport. One of the most significant developments during this time was the emergence of codified rules at various schools. Eton College, for example, developed a set of rules in 1815 that emphasized dribbling and passing. This dribbling game, as it was known, encouraged a more skillful and less physical approach to football. Meanwhile, at Rugby School, a different style of play emerged. In 1823, a student named William Webb Ellis famously picked up the ball and ran with it during a school game. This act of defiance is credited with giving birth to the sport of rugby, which embraced the physicality of medieval football and incorporated the concept of carrying the ball forward. While Eton and Rugby represent two distinct paths in football's evolution, both schools played a crucial role in shaping the sport as we know it. They demonstrated that football could be enjoyed in different ways with varying degrees of physicality and strategy. The development of written rules at these schools was a significant step towards the establishment of a standardized game. Section 4. Setting the Standard, the FA, and the First Football Rules. The 19th century proved to be a turning point for football. During this period, the sport began to evolve from a chaotic and often violent pastime into a more organized and structured game. As the sport grew in popularity, there was a growing need for a standardized set of rules to govern the game. Different regions and even different clubs had their own versions of the rules, leading to confusion and disputes. This led to the formation of the Football Association, or FA, in London in 1863. The FA was established with the aim of creating a unified code of rules that would be accepted by all clubs. The FA's primary goal was to create a unified code of rules for football, bringing order to the chaotic and often dangerous world of 19th century football. This was no small task, as the sport was played in many different ways across the country. Representatives from 12 London clubs met at the Freemasons Tavern to establish the rules of the game. These meetings were intense and often contentious, as each club had its own ideas about how the game should be played. The FA's initial rules established many of the fundamental tenets of modern football, including the size and weight of the ball, the number of players on each team, and the duration of the game. These rules provided a much-needed framework for the sport. They also outlawed many of the rougher elements of medieval football, such as hacking, which involved kicking players in the shins, and tripping. This move was aimed at making the game safer and more enjoyable for all players. The FA's rules were met with mixed reactions. While some clubs welcomed the new regulations, others were resistant to change. Some clubs embraced the new regulations, eager to play a more refined and less violent game. These clubs saw the potential for football to become a more respectable and widely accepted sport. These clubs formed the foundation of the FA and its affiliated leagues. They were instrumental in promoting the new rules and encouraging other clubs to join the FA. However, some clubs, particularly those in the north of England, resisted the FA's attempts to regulate the game. They preferred the traditional rougher style of play and were reluctant to adopt the new rules. The establishment of the FA marked a significant turning point in the history of football. It was the beginning of the sport's transformation into the organized and widely popular game we know today. It brought a sense of order and structure to a game that had long been characterized by its chaotic nature. The new rules provided a common framework that allowed clubs from different regions to compete on an equal footing. This move towards standardization paved the way for the development of leagues, competitions, and ultimately, the global sport we know and love today. The FA's efforts laid the groundwork for football to become a truly international game, enjoyed by millions of people around the world. Section 5. A Tale of Two Codes, Rugby's Divergence and the RFU. The debate over the FA's rules came to a head in 1871 when a group of clubs that favored a more physical game, including the right to carry the ball with their hands, decided to break away from the FA. This was a pivotal moment in the history of football, as it marked the beginning of a significant divergence in the sport. These clubs, primarily from rugby schools and universities, formed the Rugby Football Union, or RFU. The formation of the RFU was not just a simple administrative decision, it was a declaration of a new philosophy of the game, one that embraced physicality and a different set of skills. The RFU codified the rules of rugby football, which allowed for carrying the ball forward, tackling, and other elements that were forbidden under the FA's rules. This codification was crucial as it provided a clear framework for how the game should be played, ensuring consistency and fairness in matches. This split led to the creation of two distinct codes of Football Association football, which emphasized kicking and passing, and rugby football, which retained the physicality and ball-carrying aspects of earlier forms of the game. The differences between the two codes became more pronounced over time, each developing its own unique style and set of strategies. Despite their differences, both association football and rugby football flourished in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The popularity of both games grew rapidly, with each attracting a dedicated following and becoming an integral part of the cultural fabric of many countries. The FA Cup, the oldest national football competition in the world, was established in 1871, while the first international rugby match between Scotland and England took place in 1871. These events were milestones that highlighted the growing importance and formalization of both sports. The split between association football and rugby football highlights the diverse nature of the sport and its capacity to evolve in different directions. This evolution was driven by the differing preferences and philosophies of the players, clubs, and fans involved in each code. Both codes have since become global phenomena, each with its own unique set of rules, traditions, and passionate fan base. The global reach of both association football and rugby football is a testament to their universal appeal and the way they have been embraced by different cultures around the world. This division is a testament to the enduring appeal of both games and their ability to capture the imaginations of people worldwide. The rich history and ongoing evolution of both association football and rugby football continue to inspire and excite fans, ensuring that both sports remain vibrant and relevant in the modern era.